Greetings one and all, and welcome to another Mystic Mind Analysis. I am the Nightmare Rider, Major Mind, reminding you, as always, the definite cheeseburger can be deconstructed to its original source. It's finally here, folks! The debut of My Little Pony Friendship is Magic Season 5 has arrived, and already we are treated to a distinct quest for the main six to venture on together as the Council of Friendship. The Cutie map, Part 1, picks up more or less where the Season 4 finale left off, with Twilight having found her purpose as an alicorn, claiming her title as the Princess of Friendship, with all of her friends following her lead to help other ponies learn lessons of friendship, as they all once did themselves. The magic of Cutie marks gets a very strong focus as an integral part of this story, as has been covered several times over the course of the show. We have seen in episodes like the Cutie Pox, Cutie Mark Chronicles, and Magical Mystery Cure, all displaying how the Cutie marks are open to manipulation by strong magical forces. Cutie marks are not just the embodiment of a pony's special talent, but the magic that dictates the defining skill of each individual. The spell of Starlight Glimmer is now not just removing these talents, but actively using her own Cutie mark magic to force every pony to conform to a single standard. Fluttershy and Rarity are perfect examples of this talent suppression at work, with Fluttershy unable to understand the tweets of a small bird, and Rarity being forced into agreement on the beauty of the bland curtains, no matter how much it upsets her to lose any understanding of style.
Look at those drapes! I have no idea if they're tacky or not. Well, I think they're nice. So do I!
However, this magic is only part of what keeps the townsfolk acting the same, as three of the local ponies still speculate in secret to what life would be like if they retained their cutie marks. This suggestion that the biggest force that keeps everybody in line is social conformity. Psychologists such as Solomon Ash have done many studies into the effect of conformity to groupthink based on social pressures and expectations. One example is a 1951 study where Ash asked a group of participants to take part in a simple perception test, presented an image of a line and asked the participants to match the length of three other lines, each labelled A, B and C. What was not revealed was that 7 of the 8 participants were in fact Confederates, planted to deliberately present the wrong answer. What Ash found was that 1/3 of all responses given by the real participants was incorrect, frequently matching the wrong answer given by the Confederates, with 75% of all participants giving an incorrect answer to at least one question. This shows how the pressure in a group to behave a certain way is a very powerful tool, which Starlight uses to full effect. She has promised how the removal of the unique talents from every pony will prevent all conflict, thus achieving true friendship. The deception here, of course, is that friendship is much more complicated in how she presents it. We see just how much of a simplified worldview these ponies have through Sugarbelle's reaction to a small bit of bickering among the main six. She doesn't understand how a scuffle between friendships could be easily resolved with their unique talents intact, since she has been led to believe that every individual only ever want to go their way. In reality, it is entirely possible to find a middle ground where both participants in the discussion can find qualities of each other that they like. Agreeing with somebody does not mean surrendering all of your existing ideals, nor does it mean you cannot see things from other points of view. As I talked about in my video on how the analysis community has affected the fandom, understanding what factors are important to others can not only ease potential conflict, but also help you understand why you hold different qualities with higher importance compared to them. Equality does not necessitate everyone being the same. Rather, it is simply ensuring that others are not put at a disadvantage because of their differences. Starlight Glimmer is very creepy in her delivery of her message of the so-called equality, but she is honestly a weak point in the 2-part episode. Her motivations are left completely ambiguous, with no reason or thought as to why she feels she has to create a totalitarian society in order for everybody to be equal. I wouldn't mind this so much if it was setting up for a future episode to continue the story arc and expand on these motivations, since clearly something in her past led her to this position. But at this moment, there is very little to suggest we will ever be seeing her again, besides the fact that she escaped through a cave of plot convenience. However, this is more excusable in comparison to the bigger criticism criticism of her magical skill being undeveloped. Everything we have seen so far shows that there needs to be an exceptionally powerful level of magic in order to manipulate cutie marks and cause ponies to act differently in accordance to them. Because we know so little about Starlight, we have no other reason to believe that she has any more or less skill than some pony like Sunset Shimmer, whose strengths come from her wit and manipulation as opposed to any speciality in terms of magic. It feels like a massive world building oversight and begs the question of just why there haven't been other ponies who are frequently manipulating cutie marks for their own sake, other than the writers of the show never coming up with anything. With all that aside, the biggest strength of this episode is the characterization. Each of the personal strengths of the main six are displayed, showing just how strong their friendship remains, even with their different outlooks on the situation at hand. Pinkie Pie's suspicion shows that her silliness does not detract from her social awareness, pointing out how all of the smiles of the equal ponies are unnatural. Her comic relief moments are all spot on, both in her perfectly timed joke.
If we were at the end of Equestria, we'd be sitting on a big A! Get it?
Exaggerated expressions, and even her deadpan reaction to the phrase barrel of laughs.
This guy's a barrel of laughs. Laughs don't come in barrels. They come from inside you as your body's response to delight.
Much like her sister Maud. Fluttershy also gets a great amount of focus, as she shows how Starlight Glimmer's society isn't completely devoid of positive qualities. She simply sees it as a cultural difference, and since it makes other ponies happy, she doesn't object to it on a surface level. Even when she tells off Rainbow Dash for stating the notion is absurd, she is not focused on a single character trait to be completely blind to everyone else. She agrees with Twilight on her suspicion that everything isn't quite as voluntary as we expected, even deliberately playing up her role of conformity based on her initial contentedness with the way of life. It is when different outlooks of every pony provide a balanced critical opinion that the main six can best help the townsfolk rediscover who they are. The climax of this episode shows the full purpose of the Council of Friendship, helping other ponies help themselves through local friendships, restoring the harmony that may have been lost. Overall, the Cutie map is a strong opener to the season, going in a very different direction to the previous seasons. Rather than having an epic good versus evil fantasy battle, instead we've seen the main six face a challenge that is more fundamental to who they are as individuals, with a villain who is more like them, gaining her power through manipulation and social pressure just as strong as any magical ability she may have. While she is the shallowest villain so far, her magical level being completely ambiguous to no attempt at expansion, the episode is still exceptionally entertaining, with M.A. Larson's writing of humour, with each of the main six displaying some of the best characterization I've seen in any of the two-parters so far. I give the Cutie map parts 1 and 2 a final grade of a B+. Until the next time, this is the Nightmare Rider, Major Mind, riding out.